Were you expecting any other result than the Warriors suffering yet another loss against the Cavaliers, the team with the best record in the NBA? My dear Warriors fans, we are stuck in perpetual Steve Kerr hell, and we are stuck in Groundhog Day. This is Groundhog Day. The same thing over and over and over again. If Steve Kerr had an ounce of competitive bone in his body, there is no way he would continue to do the exact same things over and over and over again. He would fundamentally change a lot of things, and he would certainly stop playing Buddy Hield all day and night, regardless of what he does, sticking him in all these 3-guard lineups, despite the fact that he can't hit the side of a barn. The only reason he's out there is to provide points for the Warriors, and he can't even do that anymore. Buddy Hield, once again, 1 of 8 from the field tonight. 0 for 7 the game before, 2 of 8 the game before that, and 2 of 6 the game before that. He's 5 of 29 in his last 4 games, and he's hit 2 threes out of 21 attempts. 21 3-point attempts, he's hit 2! So why in God's name did this guy play 19 minutes in this game so that Steve Kerr can continue to roll out 3-guard lineups while Kyle Anderson continues to get DNP'd? And why would you continue to go to a small lineup to a tiny lineup when the only reason throughout the course of all of NBA history, the only reason you would go small is so that you can generate more points? Steve Kerr went to a small to a tiny lineup through all of the second quarter, and the Warriors managed to produce 11 points in the second quarter. That is the ball game right there. You play the #1 team in the NBA and you produce an 11-point quarter, you're not winning that game. Now, having said that, the way this game broke apart had also a lot to do with ref manipulation, man. The refs are openly manipulating against the Warriors and giving the Cavs comically false calls. So get this, Kenny Atkinson decides to challenge a call early. He calls a timeout, he goes like this, and then his staff takes a look at the replay, and then they determine, oh, maybe we shouldn't challenge this. And then Kenny's like, oh, wait, I want to cancel that challenge. And the refs are like, oh, okay, yeah. Keep your challenge. We're not going to force you to challenge it because you already did this and you already called a timeout to challenge the call. What? What are we talking about? If you're allowed to do that, then nobody would lose a challenge because all they have to do is do this, call a timeout, look at the replays before the refs do, and then see that they were wrong and then go, oh, wait. We don't want to challenge it anymore. We don't want to challenge it anymore. What? So that's just complete and utter corruption right there. That is completely unacceptable. It is a joke, and you wonder why the NBA's ratings are going down the hill.
Mobley, 7 feet tall. He should ran over Draymond more. He just wasn't elusive enough to make Draymond miss that charge opportunity. Draymond had him squared perfectly.
Cleveland's going to challenge this. They'll challenge the block charge call with 7:54. Oh. If I'm the Warriors, I'm a little chapped here. Kenny Atkinson challenged this call. Then someone on his bench said, we're going to lose the challenge.
Yeah, look at him twirling his fingers in the air. He
called for a challenge. Ed Malloy said they've taken time out to challenge. Now they're like, oh, we're rescinding our challenge because they were going to lose.
Well, they had the iPad in the back, and they obviously got to look at it. It was like, wait a minute, we can't do this. But you're not supposed to be able to do that.
No.
Once you put those fingers in the air like that.
Because they would have lost the challenge and not had the ability to challenge the whole rest of the game. So wait a minute. We challenged. No, we looked 6 more times and now we rescind our challenge. No, you can't do that.
Monty McCutcheon, we got to have a talk about this one.
And then Kenny Atkinson decides to challenge again. This time, Jonathan Kuminga gets clearly fouled multiple times by Evan Mobley, and Kenny Atkinson decides to challenge it anyway just to see if he can protect his big man Evan Mobley, because that would have been his 3rd foul. I'm going to do a replay for you, and you tell me if this should have been rescinded when it was initially called a foul.
He wanted, and he missed that jumper. Kuminga taking it inside, and Mobley called for the foul. And this is JK saying, all right, as I start to make more free throws, I don't mind getting fouled. I'm going to keep attacking.
A little further out.
Okay, are you ready?
Let's do it.
We've had 2 fake challenges.
Hey, we got a real one?
This is going to be a real. I'd love to show this to the world.
They said it was incidental contact. There was definitely some contact on the way up. Watch Mobley get him on the arm right there on the way up, and then another one right there after the
It was called a foul.
first contact.
There's the foul, and then there's a second foul, and then
yeah, he definitely got it clean after all that, but they're going to say that's incidental contact.
So you look at the replay and you're telling me that you're going to rescind this foul and say that Evan Mobley did not actually foul Kuminga? So this call ultimately allows Evan Mobley to avoid foul trouble by not picking up his third foul that he should have gotten. And then the third quarter starts. The Warriors play great defense. They get out to a good start, good defensive force and pressure. And then the ref decides to call an out of bounds on what was clearly, completely and utterly and clearly out of bounds on the Cavaliers, flip the momentum to the Cavaliers, and what should have been a turnover for the Cavs turns into a three-point shot in the corner for them instead. That is called a momentum changer. And then on the following play, Steph Curry gets fouled on a shot attempt, and they say that it is not continuation. Have a look at that as well. Now the Warriors are demoralized. The Cavaliers feel all the momentum on their side. They're essentially playing 8-on-5 at this point. Well, 9-on-5 if you want to include all the things that Steve Kerr is also doing on their behalf. It's really sad for the Warriors players, man. They deserve better than this. They deserve better than this from their head coach, who was making all the moves that are conducive to not being good enough and making sure that the Warriors don't have a path to viably compete the way they deserve to. And then they are getting absolutely jobbed by the NBA refs for one reason or another. I don't know what it is, but they needed to ensure that the Cavaliers would win this game. And they made sure they made these ridiculous and nonsensical and easily disprovable moves to shift the favor in their direction because they couldn't do it on their own. The highest scoring NBA team managed to score 46 points in the first half, man. The Warriors did their job defensively. Even with the stupid small lineups, they managed to play such great defense that they held the Cavaliers to 46 points. Just one problem. Steve Kerr's small offense cannot produce offense. 11 points in the second quarter, man. All small lineups throughout the entire quarter. All small lineups. And then he leaves out Steph Curry and Draymond for the final 3.5 minutes of the game because they're standing around trying to get into the game, but there is no stoppage. Steve Kerr never calls a timeout, and those guys don't get back into the game until there's like 30-40 seconds left in the second quarter. Now, in terms of the players playing poorly, they were just playing poor across the board. Draymond Green, 1 of 10. Steph Curry, 4 of 14. Dennis Schroeder, 4 of 11. Jonathan Kuminga, 4 of 15. Buddy Hield, 1 of 8. Trayce Jackson-Davis, 6 of 14. The lone bright spot? Moses Moody, 7 of 8 from the field. He basically couldn't miss. If Steve Kerr's gonna continue to go to these stupid, nonsensical 3-guard lineups, get Buddy Hield out of there and just play Moody over him instead. Because Moody just got paid by this team and he deserves better. Buddy Hield is garbage. He is a one-way player and he can't even provide the one-way anymore. So why is he getting 10 plus minutes and why is he getting 19 minutes in this game, man? And why is Kyle Anderson getting DNP'd left and right all day and night so that the Warriors can play these useless 3-guard lineups that cannot score? The Warriors players could never get into a rhythm, but to be honest with you, I can't emphasize enough that when they go with these 3-guard lineups and Jonathan Kuminga or Wiggins at the 4, there is no screening. As long as there's no proper screening on the floor, they will almost never find consistency that they need because this team is dependent on screens. Most NBA teams are dependent on good screens. And 3-guard lineups and JK not a screener, Wiggins not a screener. The best screener, Kevon Looney, has been completely taken out of the equation. Once again, even with Potts out, it is 3 shooting guards and a small forward coming off their bench in a 9-man rotation. Even when Steve Kerr goes to a 9-man rotation, he just can't avoid going the tiniest route humanly possible. And this is never going to stop. I told you this. Last video, the video before that, the video before that. Roughly 15 games ago, I told you, Steve Kerr has reverted back to his ways, and as long as he continues this, the Warriors are going straight downhill, and over a month later, that is still true. The Warriors have lost 13 of their last 17 games, man. 13 of their last 17 games. It would be 14 of the last 17 games if it wasn't for Kuminga coming to the rescue against the depleted Suns team the game before. And it would have been 15 out of the last 17 games if Steph Curry didn't come to the rescue against the Timberwolves when he went on a Curry flurry out of nowhere to close that game. Do you all see what I'm talking about? Do you understand? Most of you that are on this channel, you understand. And you've been on this journey with me all along. So I appreciate you. You are amazing. I need you to continue to spread this message to get Steve Kerr out of here in order for the Warriors to get back to a style of basketball that makes sense and they can go on a run as soon as this guy is out. Literally, second quarter, Steve Kerr elects to go to the small ball featuring Steph Curry, Lindy Waters, Andrew Wiggins, Jonathan Kuminga, and Draymond Green. And from a defensive standpoint, fair play to those guys. At least Pods is not in there. At least it's all 6'6" or above guys on the floor outside of Steph Curry. And at least that is some iteration of what their successful small lineups used to be, where it isn't tiny across the board. This one just is a limited one in the sense of Kuminga being at the 4 or Wiggins being at the 4, neither of them being viable screeners. And there's just not enough space created when you're doing that style of play. And then some of those guys sit out. Trace comes in, Schroeder comes in, Buddy Hield is on the floor, Moody's on the floor. So even with Pods missing, it's still a 3-guard lineup featuring Schroeder, Lindy, Moody, and again, Jonathan Kuminga at the 4 and Trace at the 5. And you're basically designing a lineup that is going to fail Trace and make him look bad because he's the anchor of that unit. And that's just not going to be good enough. Fair play to Kuminga though. He was at least able to do his job from a rebounding standpoint. He grabbed 10 rebounds. And he's been on a very forceful and a hell of a run in that regard. But the overall job is still not being done when they run these small lineups. I will keep saying it over and over and over again. The entire point of running small lineups is so that you can be more forceful from a scoring standpoint. You can generate a lot of points by going small. That is the only reason you go small. And the Warriors were scoreless in the first 4 minutes of running that small lineup. So what is the point of going to it? There is none. There is none. Nobody is asking Steve Kerr any of these questions from the media, never ever questioning why Kyle Anderson is no longer in rotation, why even Cavaliers is no longer in rotation, and there are 3 shooting guards coming off his bench. A middle school, high school coach can tell you that that is complete and utter nonsense. So sad, man. They start these games off so well with Trace in there next to Draymond. They are forceful. You saw that unit setting a tone defensively with Wiggins at POA, and the Cavaliers starting unit could get nothing going. Evan Mobley scored like 2 points in the first half. Donovan Mitchell scored like 4 points in the first half. But you allow these tiny lineups to disallow efficient scoring for the Warriors as they once again flounder and score a whopping 38 points in the first half. 2025 is upon us. The new year is ahead and the Warriors need to start anew, and this is the perfect time for the Warriors. Joe Lacob, Mike Dunleavy, Steph freaking Curry, even Draymond Green, the whole damn team get together and understand that what they're doing is staying silent and going straight down with the ship that is being steered straight to an iceberg by Steve Kerr. Get him out of here. Nobody has touched Mike Brown yet. Go get Mike Brown. That is the one guy that Steph Curry would actually sign off on losing Steve Kerr to get Mike Brown back into the equation. Other coaches, I'm not so sure, but Mike Brown may be the exception, the only exception, where Steph Curry will say, okay, I agree. Enough is enough. This isn't working. I love Steve Kerr to death as a human being, but this isn't working. This is destroying my career. This is destroying the career of everybody on this team. Everything is about to get broken up because of Steve Kerr. The front office is going to get desperate and make some dumb move, go get a guy like Nikola Vucevic that will destroy their defense, and everything will be over before you know it. Just get Steve Kerr out of here, get Mike Brown in there, and start anew. The army against Steve Kerr is growing leaps and bounds and getting louder than ever. Join this party with me, because once that happens, every single one of you that is on this channel and pushing for that narrative is going to look like a damn genius. Invest in this movement because it is the one thing that is going to fix this Warriors team once and for all. Love y'all. Happy soon to be New Year. I'll see you soon enough. Until next time.